Welcome to The Explainer. I am absolutely thrilled they're joining us today because we are embarking on a truly fascinating journey. Today, we're exploring the deep, historically profound bonds between the United States and Italy. We're going to look at how a shared transatlantic vision helped forge the very foundations, the defense, and the extraordinary future of the American nation.
In 2026, we the Italians celebrates two anniversaries, One Heart. The 250th anniversary of the United States and the 80th anniversary of the Italian Republic. This explainer is part of the Happy Birthday USA, Italy's role in America's Greatness project, in which we tell the stories of 18 well-known figures of Italian heritage who helped make the United States great. Okay, let's dive into this. We're going to trace a chronological journey today through three distinct chapters: the philosophical bridge, the unyielding defender, and launching to the moon.
Chapter 1, Filippo Mazzei, The Philosophical Bridge. So, Filippo Mazzei's incredible journey begins in Tuscany, right around 1730. As a true thinker of the Enlightenment, he heads over to Virginia in 1773 and actually strikes up this profound intellectual friendship with Thomas Jefferson. The fundamental principles of liberty he wrote down in 1774 echoed so powerfully that fast forward to 1994, the U.S. Congress actually passed Public Law 103-371, formally recognizing Mazzei's writings as a direct inspiration for the core ideals of the United States. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the exact wording Mazzei used back in 1774. He wrote, "All men are by nature equally free and independent." Just think about that for a second. 2 years later, Jefferson would write, "All men are created equal" in the Declaration of Independence. Mazzei wasn't just some bystander, right? He was literally an active collaborator in the transatlantic laboratory of modern constitutionalism. And the number 250 actually holds a dual significance for us here. As we approach the 250th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence in 2026, it's amazing to look back and see that in 1980, a joint U.S.-Italy philatelic tribute was issued to mark the 250th anniversary of Mazzei's birth. The USPS released the Philip Mazzei Patriot Remembered airmail stamp. It's just a really powerful symbol of his enduring transatlantic legacy.
But, Mazzei's influence went way beyond just political theory. He and Jefferson shared agricultural projects, and Mazzei even brought Vino Nobile di Montepulciano over to America. For them, farming and wine weren't just hobbies. They were expressions of a civilized society built on liberty, shared knowledge, and strong local communities. Plus, he acted as a crucial diplomatic conduit during the Revolutionary War, tirelessly hustling to get European support for the American cause.
Moving into the 20th century, we hit Chapter 2, John Basilone, the Unyielding Defender. Born in New York in 1917 to Italian immigrants, Basilone's defining moment happened in October 1942 at Guadalcanal. His heroism there was unbelievable. He kept machine gun positions operational under intense enemy fire. Tragically, he was killed in action at Iwo Jima in early 1945. But concurrently, right around that same time on April 28, 1945, American forces liberated Vicenza, Italy. And that actually laid the groundwork for a lasting military partnership when U.S. troops returned there permanently in 1955.
So the crucial point is this: for over 70 years, that permanent American military presence in Vicenza has flourished. Today, forces like SATEF Africa and the 173rd Airborne Brigade operate side by side with the local community there. It's a relationship absolutely built on the exact values of mutual respect and collective security that heroes like John Basilone fought and died for.
We also really have to look at the social context of his heroism. Right after Pearl Harbor, hundreds of thousands of Italians living in the U.S. were suddenly viewed with intense suspicion, and many were unjustly classified as enemy aliens. But Basilone's undeniable bravery completely shattered that prejudice. He became this powerful, irrefutable symbol of loyalty and patriotism for the Italian-American community during a really difficult era. The sheer scale of his dedication is pretty staggering. He remains the only enlisted Marine of World War II to receive both the Medal of Honor and the Navy Cross for actions in separate battles. After his early heroism, the government actually brought him home, where he spoke to crowds and raised millions of dollars in war bond drives. But get this, he refused safe stateside assignments. He literally insisted his place was back on the front lines. That kind of selfless leadership remains a profound moral compass for modern service members today. Which brings us to the modern era, Chapter 3, Rocco Petrone, Launching to the Moon. Born in 1926 to immigrants from the Basilicata region, Petrone brought an unstoppable work ethic to West Point and MIT. When President Kennedy threw down the challenge to reach the moon in 1961, Petrone absolutely rose to the occasion, becoming NASA's director of launch operations for the historic Apollo 11 launch in 1969. And as you'll see, his legacy stretches right into the present day with the Artemis program. And this brilliantly illustrates the sheer monumental scale of his responsibility. Picture this. The Saturn V rocket he was in charge of launching stood an immense 360 feet tall. It was an unprecedented technological marvel made of millions of highly complex components, and Rocco Petrone was the man responsible for making sure absolutely every single piece functioned flawlessly. His leadership was, quite frankly, legendary. He demanded this rare blend of military discipline and elite engineering excellence. You see, without his relentless attention to detail and his flawless management of those millions of components, Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin's historic moonwalk simply would not have happened. He didn't just launch Apollo 11. He helped drive NASA's strategic evolution and established rigorous safety frameworks that the agency relies on to this very day. That's exactly why Petrone's organizational genius isn't just some footnote in history. It is the very foundation that today's Artemis program is built upon. As NASA prepares to return humans to the moon and establish long-term infrastructure to eventually reach Mars, the engineers and managers of today are still studying the quality control procedures and risk management methods developed under Rocco Petrone's watchful eye. A shared transatlantic future. Let's move to and see how this builds when we bring this larger picture together. A really profound pattern emerges here. We have Filippo Mazzei laying transatlantic political foundations in the 18th century. We have John Basilone finding ultimate military sacrifice in the 20th century. And we have Rocco Petrone orchestrating our greatest leap in exploration. Across politics, defense, and science, these extraordinary contributions are absolutely central to the American story. Whether they were shaping the core principles that would find their way into the Declaration of Independence, fighting to protect freedom in the Pacific while simultaneously shattering prejudice at home, or sending human beings to the surface of the moon, these figures represent the perfect synergy of Italian roots and American greatness. They truly embody a continuous exchange of friendship, cooperation, and deeply shared values between our two nations. So I want to leave you with this thought to ponder. As we look toward the 250th anniversary of the United States and as humanity prepares to return to the moon, whose untold story will inspire the next great leap forward? We've really only just scratched the surface today. I hope this leaves you eager to discover the other 15 remarkable stories in the 2 Anniversaries One Heart project. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and keep exploring.